Hello everybody and welcome to another Transformers review. Thanks to the guys over at Robot Kingdom. Today I'm taking a look at the Transformers Generation Combiner Wars Ultra Magnus. Very excited for this figure. First off, as soon as he arrived, I can tell you now the colours are a lot more vibrant than what they've appeared in some of the photos. I thought he looked quite dull and I thought, oh, do I regret getting him? He's arrived. No, I don't. He's vibrant. He is a gorgeous figure. Quick look around the box. Got Magnus. This is obviously inspired by the kind of more than meets the eye IDW comic. Top corner here we've got Minimus Ambus. If you don't know who Minimus Ambus is, make sure you read the IDW comics. It's a nice little plot twist. On the side of the box, we've got the Combiner Wars, we've got Ultra Magnus, we've got Minimus Ambus again. Turning it around on the back here, we've got a multilingual bio. We've got Magnus in his bot mode, his vehicle mode, Minimus Ambus again. Just flicking the box around, we've got Autobot logo. So without further ado, let's crack him open! Magnus comes with two of these missile pods. They are very hollow. Paint applications are slightly lackluster on these, but they can be stored either side of his arm. We have Minimus Ambus. Again, very minimalistic on the paint applications, but it's kind of what we've come to expect from Hasbro. And we get two of these rifles. Right, before we start on Magnus, let's have a look at Minimus Ambus, or Minimus. Very small kind of Cybertronian car. Nice Autobot logo on the top there. No real paint bleeding there. This guy is taken directly from the comics. A lot of people are like, oh, it's not G1. No, it's not G1. This is an IDW inspired Ultra Magnus. I know Takara are doing this as a repaint as Alpha Trion. Don't really understand that myself. Alpha Trion's going to be absolutely diddly, and when did he ever live in the chest cavity of Ultra Magnus? Nice straightforward transformation for this guy. Flick the legs out and down, like so. If you look inside here, this whole hinge needs to rock up. It's a very tight hinge, unnecessarily tight in my opinion. And it locks in, and there we go. It gives us a goateed little dude. He's very flimsy. The ball joints on his arms are very loose. He just feels very thin. I guess I've been kind of spoiled. We've been getting some really nice kind of Target Master, Headmaster style figures from the third parties recently. And he does feel just a little bit lackluster. I mean, the paint applications on the face aren't horrendous. It just feels very hollow. And of course, he does dock in Magnus. Now, Magnus, as standard, comes with his arms slid down out of the pack. You just need to push those up and lock those into place. This chest section on the front of Magnus does flip down, and basically the head will tip back, and this whole front cab section splits open, revealing a rather nice cockpit section. There is a lot of detailing gone into here. I mean, you've got joysticks in there, you've got all of these screens and information being shown. I mean, that is fantastic. It's a shame there's no paint applications in there. And to be honest with you, if somebody like Repro Labels do stickers for the inside of this, they're going to be so difficult to apply. There's such a fine, small area in there. Of course, he does come in and sit down in that section. There's these two peg holes for his hands, so he can actually slide those on, which are joysticks. Trying to get everything on camera so you can see it. And again, put his hands on that joystick. Just bend his legs over. He's got really nice foot plate. He does sit extremely well in there and does look very nice. We can then close up this cab section over, bring this section back up, and then we can bring the head section back down, and there we have Magnus. And Magnus does come with these two guns. This one here very much reminds me of the gun that was included with the Masterpiece MP09 Rodimus. This one here is very G1 Prime-esque. This is the problem I'm having. They don't stay in his hand overly well. we've been used to those masterpiece style slots where they'll go in and they'll stay in that hand. I mean, the head does come round, it does kind of grip the gun, it just doesn't grip it very well, and since you start shaking it about, it will fall out. Magnus as a whole feels very hollow. Again, I refer back to the third-party figures. I think we've kind of been spoiled with them because they're robust. And people moan and moan and moan about the QC issues with some of the third-party companies, which is understandable because you are paying a lot more for a figure. But these guys, they do feel a little bit hollow. Again, it's because they're a kid's toy, isn't it? I can't gripe really. You're paying a fraction of the cost of what you'll pay for the specialised third-party figures. I myself will not be displaying him with these guns, as nice as they are. I think it was the animated series of Transformers that basically introduced the kind of Solus Prime style hammer, which basically can be achieved by connecting this onto here. And if we come round and grab his shoulder missiles, they are literally just tabbed on by pegs. Unpeg this side as well. They actually peg in very, very securely, and they do hold very, very well. And basically, we can just slide those into either hole on here, like so, and like so. And there we have a big, chunky monkey hammer. Is it because he's an enforcer? I'm not really sure why they decided to go with the hammer. I like the slots are pre-cut out, so the hammer does slide in and actually holds a lot better than what the gun does. I always think of Ronan. The Enforcer with his hammer. But yeah, I think he looks a lot better. It just does it for me. It is very, very Forge-like. It's a good weapon for Magnus to wield. The articulation on Magnus is not the very best we've had from Hasbro, but by no means the worst. There's not quite enough give in these arms to allow him to hold the hammer with both hands, which is how I'd like to have him displayed. I'd like to have him with the legs bent and this kind of hammer just being very, very imposing. But for now, let's just take that out of his hand. Let's just cover the articulation points. First of all, let's start off with the head. The head is on that swivel, as we discovered earlier on. It does rotate left and right. There is no downward motion, and the only upward motion is when you apply the swivel and reveal the mini head. Look at me, I'm piloting a big Magnus suit. Put the head down. Again, it's just left and right. Really nice, reminiscent, very G1-esque head there. Probably a little bit too G1 with regards to how he actually looks currently in the comics. The shoulders, they do move a full 360 degree on a very, very soft ratchet. These sections here can come out and go in. That's the only fly-like motion we're going to get with those. We have a full rotation at the upper bicep. We have a bend at the elbow, just actually beyond 90 degrees, which is actually very nice. And it goes all the way straight. The hands are just on an open and close. There is no rotation on the wrists at all. The waist does not rotate. That was the biggest shocker for me. I would have liked waist rotation. I know it's due to this transformation here, but I'm sure if they'd have put this section here, if this was cut, which I may do myself actually, if that was cut and put on a separate swivel, would have added just a little bit more value to this guy. The legs are on a nice ratchet. High kick. Go all the way back to about there, and then we start having clearance issues. He does do the splits. He does have a nice upper thigh swivel and a very, very nice bend at the knee. The feet, yes, the feet are on this kind of pivoting swivel here, so you can adjust how far and how tall you make him, but there is no ankle pivot. The feet are already cut at this kind of angle to give the illusion of ankle pivot. But really, in this day and age, I would have thought we could have got some form of pivoting on those feet. It's Magnus. He has a very, very wide stance. I would have liked a little bit of pivoting on those feet. Scale-wise, I think he works extremely well. They've made him a very, very good, substantial size. He does fit in very well with the Combiner War figures, as well as the IDW style figures. I think he'd look fantastic with kind of the Lost Light crew. Right, now without further ado, let's get Magnus changed up into his vehicle mode. First of all, you want to remove his weapon. Just take that to one side. Basically, we're going to remove these shuttle pods. They are going to be attached to the side of the vehicle like it's a G1 style Magnus. We then want to remove Minimus. So you want to flip up the head. Basically do the exact reverse of what we've done earlier on. Just open up this front cab. Move Minimus out of the way. And then this time we're going to put the Magnus head back inside the chest. Flip the top down. And we're going to close this cab back off. At this point, I like to transform Minimus. Oh, you know his name. Transform him, just slide that section back. You want to flip the legs over. This really does remind me of the kind of G1 Target Masters, his transformation. There he is in his vehicle mode, ready for deployment. Right, your next task is we've got to lift this cab section up, so it's at this angle. This section here slides out slightly, and then slides up like so. Can then rotate this top cab section, and then there's two tabs either side here, and just slide that cab into place. Come around to the back of the legs. I'm going to slide open this red section. That's going to fold out of the way. The foot is on that pivot. I'm going to rock the pivot backwards like so, and slide that so it's stored securely in like that. Let's come around to the front of the leg. If I just pop this section down so you can see what I'm looking at. There's a tab in the inside here. You just want to pull that and just untab this section here, and these legs are going to now rotate all the way down like so. It's just tabbed in just here. So we just open this up just so you can see on this side it's tabbed in. Just want to pop that tab out, and these legs will now slide all the way down like so. Pull the waist section down, join the legs together, just tab those in, and then this blue section will just slide down, and that locates either side. So it's a small gap here, small gap there, and that sits in there perfectly. Slide these red sections down and around so they sit plush on the white section. Come around to the arms. You want to pull the arm collar up and over. That's on a swivel hinge. That's then going to tab into place. You can then unsecure the shoulder section, sliding that all the way up until it locks into place. And with both sections you want to move those up and into the middle, and they're going to tab together. So again, with this side, you want to just untab from the red, slide the joint all the way out until it locks into place, like so, and lift up the blue collar on the hand until it clicks, like so. Rotate this up, and now these two sections here are going to tab together and together at the front, and the same at the back. They're going to tab together and together like so, and then there's a tab on here and a tab on here. They're just going to tab into the blue sections on the trailer, keeping it at an even height like so. Just make sure everything is tabbed in where it's meant to be, like so. Depending on your preference, the guns and the pods can be mounted in either hole, just a hole in either section, and we just place those in. And there we have Magnus in his vehicle mode. Let's just bring in our little dude, There we go. That's actually a fairly nice alt mode. I actually quite like the looks of that. I like the these big lights on the front here. It's very, very Cybertronian. Looks very angry, doesn't it? Would have liked paint applications on the wheels. It's basically all it's missing. It is hollow, it is kind of folded inside out, but it's a nice straightforward transformation. My son can do it, it's very easy. It's Although a hollow toy, it's still very robust and will last the term. Silver paint on those wheel hubs, that would have been all this would have taken. They've used the paint on the smokestacks already. A little bit of dab on those wheels, I think that would really make them pop. It's just a very nice nod to the G1 figure. And it works. It's definitely a Cybertronian truck. It still has the ability to drop these sections at the back here, although it is a fairly steep step for them to climb up, but we can get our Generations figures on board. Like so. Looks good, doesn't it? So there we have it, guys. That is the Combiner Wars Ultra Magnus. I think he's officially classed as a leader class figure, although he's more kind of ultra in size. But nonetheless, he's a very nice figure. He's good value for money, and he's a good representation of Ultra Magnus. He's going to look good in your Generations, your Classics, your Fall of Cybertron, your Combiner Wars. He's going to look good in all of those. Thanks again to the guys at Robot Kingdom. Make sure you click through the link in the description below and place an order for yours now. Until next time, from myself, Ultra Magnus and Minimus. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.